Yo, tune in, tune in, tune in. Good evening, everyone. I believe you're all doing good. Today is another edition of Music Journey. If you're online, just type in Journey to Success, and I know you're online. Today, what we are going to do is we are going to make the show very interesting. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up for you guys to leave questions. I'm going to open up for you guys to leave questions for us to go through. You understand? Today, I'm very fortunate to have my father. In fact, he means a lot to me. He has been into this music industry for so long. So today, I'm very fortunate to have him. And, you know, when I talk to him that I just want to invite him as a guest on my show, you know, he was so interesting, and, you know, he wants that to be part of this show. And he wants to be a blessing to you out there. I believe you've been struggling for some years now to learn instrument, to learn things you lack, you understand? So this man is actually here. He has been into this music industry for so long. Okay, so today he's here to share his experience with us. He's actually here to teach us a whole lot, you know. So if you're online, kindly type in Journey to Success, and then I know you're online. Forgive me today, I'm very late. It was one or two issues, that is why I was actually late. Forgive me for that. And today we have a lot to learn. We really have a lot to learn. So if you have questions, you can drop it in the comment section so that I can ask him for you. Okay, he's willing to answer every question. Okay, I have my father in music, David A. Laster. Okay, David A. Laster. Very soon he'll be joining me. And I once again apologize for the time. It was supposed to be 6, but it's 8:59. It's almost 9. I'm really sorry. So we're going to make it quick and interactive. So tag every musician out there, as we always used to do. You tag every musician out there that this show is actually for him or her. You know, you've been trying to learn music for some time now, but you have no idea, or you are stuck somewhere, you don't know what to do. This show is actually for you. So always make sure you follow this show to get more updates on whatever you need to know in your music career. At least every week we bring you tips for you to add to your music career. You know, so if you're online, just type in Journey to Success, okay? Journey to Success, yeah. If you type in Journey to Success, I'll just mention your name and then just give you a shout out, okay? Just give you a shout out. So keep sharing. Very soon he's going to join me. He's going to join me over here. And I believe today's edition is going to be suburb. I think last week we were fortunate to have Ashley Barnes on our show, and I think the first edition was Anita too. You know, so last week I was confusing. I was just confusing with the name. I got confused with the name. You know, Ashley and then Anita. I think they relate. So yesterday last week, I was actually mixing the names together, but I'm really sorry if you are watching me, Ashley. I'm really sorry about that. So tonight we have a legend. If I say a legend, I mean a legend. If I really see a legend, I mean a legend. Okay, he's already online. He's already online. So I'm your host for the show. My name is Perry Adams. And whenever you meet me out there, you just call me Mr. Jazzy. Whenever you meet me out there, just call me Mr. Jazzy. Okay, we are very fortunate to have the legendary David Laster in the house. Okay, he's got a lot for us. He's going to share with us his experience in music, whatever he has been through, you know, a whole lot. Okay, maybe whatever you are passing through in music, I believe he has already passed there. So there are certain tips he's going to give for you to, follow and then move your pace ahead. Okay, so without wasting much time, I'll invite him. I know we are far behind time, so I'm gonna invite him. Then we start with the show. So if you've not shared the program, kindly start sharing. Kindly start sharing. Kindly start sharing. Let it reach as many as you can. Let it reach many as you can. Sorry. Today I have a lot of questions to ask this man. I've been waiting to have an encounter with him, but God being so good, I'm gonna have him on my show, and I'm so blessed, and I believe you are also blessed to meet this man, a legendary. I don't know how long he has been playing the instrument or he has been into this music industry, but I believe we are going to learn something tonight. So if you're online, just type in Journey to Success, and then I know you're online. I'm going to give you a shout out. Okay, I'm going to give you a shout out, and prepare your questions because every question is going to be answered here. Okay. For quite some time, we've been into this music industry for some time now. So if the question is beyond me, my father is actually here to correct some few mistakes of ours. Okay, so I'll invite him to join. Keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing. I just want you to keep sharing. I want you to keep sharing. I want you to keep sharing. I want you to keep sharing. Keep sharing. So very soon he's gonna join me. Yeah, very soon he's gonna join me. Hey, hello.
Well, hello, hello. God bless you. God bless you, mister.
How are you doing, sir?
I am wonderful. I'm wonderful. I tell you, this has been a crazy day. I tell you that.
Oh my God, this network has been so bad. Yeah, so I was just trying as much as possible to get you online, but I'm so sorry. I just have to apologize. I have nothing to do than to apologize to you. I'm so sorry about that, sir.
That
And
is okay.
today I have you on my show. This is Music Journey, and Music Journey, it's all about music. It's all about music. Whether you're from, whether you are a beginner, you are an intermediate, whether you are a professional, this forum is actually where you learn, you ask questions, and that questions are going to be answered. Okay, so that is why I bring competent people on my show. Okay, experienced people for they at least for them to teach you, for them to share their ideas with you. So if you're online, just type in Journey to Success and tell someone that David Lester is actually here and we are blessed tonight. And I believe all your questions you've dropped down there is going to be answered tonight. So we are very fortunate to have a legendary, yeah, a legendary, a man who plays so much, who plays many roles. Yeah, we are so blessed to have him. And if not, sorry, if you've not shared this video, kindly share because I don't want anyone to miss this program. I just don't want anyone to miss this program. So kindly share and prepare your questions. That every questions is going to be answered here. Is going to be answered here. So prepare your question and make sure you tag every musician out there that um, the legendary is here. The legendary is here. You know, one time I was just watching his video. I was like, what? This man really plays a lot. So I just felt it, and then I have to talk to him and then come and share with us his experience in music. At least we're going to learn something. Yeah. So, Mr. David Laster, you're welcome to Music Journey once again. As I told you, it's all about sharing your experience. People out there learning
Thank
what
you.
they need to know, and at least sometimes we start music and we just stuck somewhere. We didn't pass through the right channel to learn the music. So we get to somewhere and then we just get stuck because we don't know what to do. You understand?
Right.
So this show was actually designed and prepared for people to at least get tips about music every week to add something to whatever they are doing. You understand? To make us move on in life. yeah, to make
Yes.
things easier for each and every of us. Because, mind you, someone out there might be learning instruments or be
Right.
singing on his or her own, you understand, but doesn't have any teacher. So this show is actually for everyone, you understand. This show is actually for everyone. So if you're online, kindly share this video, kindly share, because tonight tonight is something else. You know, in USA, I think is daytime there, right? I think it's daytime,
It's
isn't it?
daytime. It is
Yeah,
actually
it's daytime.
let's see. It is actually 5 minutes after 4 p.m.
5 5 minutes after 4 p.m. Right?
Yes, we're a little late, but I'm Central Standard Time, right? So it's 5 after 4 Central Standard Time.
Okay, so I think we're 9 8 p.m. Yeah, 9 8 p.m.
Wow,
Yeah.
5 hours. So
So
you're only 5 hours ahead of us. Yes.
5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours. Yeah, you're right. So we're gonna get started. I think they will join very soon. As time goes on, they will join. So you can also share the video if you come online. Just type in Journey to Success, and then I'm just gonna give you a shout out for people to know that you're also part of this show. Okay, so sir, um, I would love to know more about you. So you're going to talk to my audience. You're going to tell them who you are, for how long you've been playing, you've been doing music, or for how long you've been in today's music industry. Okay, so you're going to share your experience with us. With all due respect, everybody is watching you. So go ahead, sir.
Well, I want to say it's an honor to be in sharing from Ghana because Ghana is one of the places I've always wanted to visit. I have not visited Ghana yet. And my name is David A. Laster. I'm in the USA. I've been in music for over 40 years. I've done just about everything that I wanted to do. I've learned a lot of things, and I learned hands-on because I had something to happen to me that most people grow up in music that didn't have an opportunity to have. When I was 3 years old, I could play guitar, but
Wow.
there wasn't. We were very poor. We were very poor. We was in the country, and my dad didn't know anything about me. He really didn't understand me because I was gifted. I was gifted beyond measure. He didn't know. He didn't know how to deal with me, but so he dealt with me the normal way. I would go out. What I think when I was about 5, I went out and the Lord gave me a vision. I would watch my uncle play. My uncle had a guitar. He would play in church, but we didn't have a guitar. So because Dad, he wanted us to be farmers. We were farmers,
Okay.
and the thing for us was to work. Dad wanted us to learn how to work. He said, if you learn how to work, you'll never be begging. You'll never have to beg for anything because you know how to work. But but I was too young to work the fields. So I always was out inventing things. I was always out doing things. So when I got about 5, I I found a flat board, and
Okay, so before you
I tried.
continue, sir, before you continue, which year did you start playing music, or did you discover that you have this interest in music? Which year was that?
Well, this was when in my early ages. This was in let's see, this was like 1964.
1964.
This is like 64, yes, like 1964. When
Wow.
I made my first guitar.
Okay.
I made it because we couldn't afford them. So I made my
Wow.
first guitar. So I made it. My dad was a fisherman. He loved to fish. And we had a pond behind our
Your dad.
house. We were in, and I would take fishing line and wrap it around a board with a corn cob. I would put a corn cob in the back to hold it for the freight. And the front, it would be off, but it would be up off the strings like that. It would be way up, but I would tune it in G straight. And
Really?
yes, and when the songs would come on the radio, I would build a guitar on Saturdays. So on Sunday mornings, when the quartets would come on radio, my guitar would be ready. And I would use we had gallon jugs. I would cut out a square thing of a gallon jug for a guitar pick. And when the songs come on, I could I would get all these cans, and I would get two cans and and buckets and stuff. So everybody was seeing me do this, and I think you're going in and out, going in and off the line. I think you're going in and out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm listening to you. The network was not that good, so trying to.
I think your
We
network is
can talk.
going
I'm
in and
listening.
out.
It's okay. It's okay now. It's okay now. Let's talk.
Okay.
All right. What inspired you to do music? Because you cannot just wake up all of a sudden once just in your bed and then just get up and then just want to do music. I mean, something must push you to do music. So, what inspired you to do music? If I want to ask.
Okay, mister, you got an echo when you're talking. You're still talking right now on my end.
Yeah.
It's a big delay. You got a big delay.
Can you hear me now?
It's a big
Can you hear
delay.
me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so can
But
I go on?
I can hear myself talking. When I
You
talk,
can hear
I can
yourself
hear
talk.
myself. Yeah, I'll talk back to
Okay.
myself.
Okay, I was using earphones, so let me take it off. Is it okay now?
Okay, you're still
Hello?
talking. You're talking now.
Is it okay now?
Okay, your voice, right? We're still got a big delay, a big humongous delay.
Yeah, I guess it's the network. Let me drop back and then bring you on the camera again. All right, so wherever you are, I think I'm having network problems. So keep sharing the video. I'm really having a network problem here. So keep sharing. I'm trying as much as possible to bring my father. I mean, I was enjoying the conversation I was having with him, but the network was really bad. But I'm trying as much as possible to bring him back. I think my network was really delaying. So if you're online, kindly share. If you're online, kindly share that Music Journey is happening live. Okay, so I'm trying to add him.
All right, we're back.
Is it okay, sir?
All right.
Is it okay?
Yes, okay now. You seem to be there.
It's
Yes.
okay, right?
It's okay. Yes.
Right. You know, people just join. Okay, so what we're gonna do is just come in with your experience again because you've been doing music for only God knows. We don't know. That is why you are actually on Music Journey. So please, I would love you to just reverse back and then tell us a bit about yourself, because people just join in. My father is actually watching me, and I'm very blessed. Reverend Promise Demoji, wherever you are, thank you very much. That great one, son. Keep it up. Thank you, Daddy. So a quick one. Seth, you're going to reverse a little bit back and then tell us more about your secret behind your music. I mean, experience about you. Anything we need to know about David Elasta. Thank you very much. Over to you, Seth.
All right. Well, like I said, I've been playing music all my life, and the experience of music just came from actually from birth. It came from birth, and going to church. My uncle. That's in the music. Was at 12, and I think you're frozen up.
Hello.
Okay, you froze up for a while. You froze up for a long time. Yes.
Hello.
Okay, you got the same problem. You delay. You froze up, then you came back with a long delay.
So I think the network is really bad, right?
Yeah, yeah. You have a long delay before it gets here, but seem to my I guess mine is okay, but it's on your end.
Okay, so how is it now?
Now it's perfect. It is perfect now.
Okay, so all right, so go ahead, sir.
Okay. So anyway, my music started at 12 years old. When I was 12, there was a professional group. The name of the group was the Mighty Kings of Harmony from Newton, Mississippi. And they
Okay.
were getting ready to travel. They were getting ready to hit They had just recorded a hit album. It's called the Do Rock and Spirituals by
Okay.
a record company in Nashville, Tennessee called Klondike. And Klondike was one of the biggest things going back then. And my brother joined the group in 1970, and I was a little too young, so he played for 2 years, and they needed a guitar player, another guitar player. And my brother told him that I play. And so when they saw who I was, this little bitty boy, they just knew I couldn't play because these guys were all professionals. So they asked me to come to a rehearsal. So I went to rehearsal. I played with them that night. They never had to teach me anything. It's like I had been playing with them all along. So I joined the group. They said, "We want you." So we went. So they took me all over the United States because the thing is, Klondike wanted them to go professional and fly all over the world, but this group, they had families, big families, lots of children. They said, "We're not going to leave our children, so we're going to do it ourselves." So they did not sign a contract for this record company to send them places. Now, most of the big groups that made it big back then, they had to sign contracts, and the groups and the record company sent them all over the place. But what happened, what we did, the album.
If I just want to come in, okay, so if I just want to come in, at what age did you start playing with that group, which is the first band your brother introduced you to? At what age was that?
I was 12.
You're 12 years.
12.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
So
I'm keeping
at
notes.
12, yes. So I played with them for 10 years. I grew up.
Years.
I grew up on the road. I grew up my childhood was on the road. And I got a chance. The people that raised me on the road was all the professional groups in the United States, like Shirley Caesar, Mighty Clouds of Joy, Slim and the Supreme Angels. I mean, all the professional groups, all of them. I grew up on stage with them as a child.
Wow.
And now my brother played drums for 3 years, from say 1970 to 1973. So no, I'm sorry, let's say 71, 72, 73. Now from 71, he joined in 1971, and he got married at 74, and in 1974 he left the group, and I became their drummer. So I was 15 years old then.
Okay.
So I played drums from 15 until I was 20 to 21.
Wow.
So, but the
So
thing,
all that period you were playing drums. Wow.
Yes,
That's
I
great.
played drums.
So
For
so okay, fine. You were playing drums. So within that period, you were actually playing drums. That's okay. So what got you to do or to get you on the guitar? Because within that period, you're actually playing drums. So what actually got you on the guitar?
Well, I already was a guitar player. I could already play. See, I learned to play anything that I see, I can do it. Because God blessed me as a child to be a visionary. If I see it, I can do it. So the things that I saw was the bass guitar, the lead guitar, the keyboard, piano, the organ, all that. I saw people playing it. And you probably familiar with the, you ever heard the Mississippi Mass Choir, have you?
Yeah, I heard that.
Well, the Mississippi Mass Choir, the guy that's over that choir, his name is David R. Carey Jr.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
his father was my pastor of our church. He was the pastor of our church.
Wow.
And David would, when they would come to our church, they had like 3 churches. His father was pastoring like, I think, 3 churches. So Pastoral Sunday for our church, well, David would come and play the piano at our church. Now I have to explain this piano. This piano was an old, broken down piano, out of tune, because we were a country church, and they couldn't buy a piano. I think somebody probably had a raggedy piano from somewhere in the storage room and gave it to the church, and they took it. But nobody in the church could play it because we were all guitar players. So when I was about 5 to 7, I would go up there and watch David Carey play that piano. And he was so good, he could make this piano that wasn't even in tune sound like it was in tune. And I would watch him. So I started playing piano from watching him at 7. So I could play all the instruments. I don't care what it was. If I could see it, I can play it.
Wow. So automatically, that actually means that you didn't have a teacher during that time to teach you music. So
nobody taught me to play
it was just
anything. The Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit. No, I could play. When I first got on drums, I could play them. When I first picked up the guitar, I could play it. Because I've been playing guitar from 7, making my own guitar. So, you know, I made my guitars at 7 because we couldn't afford a guitar. So I would make it with a plank and fishing string, you know, and tune them. You know, I could do that. So it was like it was already in me. But far as the road,
wow.
I didn't know anything about professional music other than like the quartets would come on Sunday morning, and they would play, sing on the radio and tell us where they're going to sing at and different stuff like that. But when I got on the road and started traveling with this group, I learned some things. And this is where most our young people make mistakes, a lot of mistakes, because they don't know anything about the music business. Where they learn their music business is when they go, they'll see someone else that has a contract, and they go to a record company, they do an album or do a CD, and they go somewhere and try to get signed. So when you go talk to a record company, first of all, what they're gonna do is tell you all the great things. Oh, wow, well, you can do this, you can do that, and then sign the bottom line. So you're so happy to go back and tell your friends that you signed a contract, but really not knowing about that contract. And this is what happened to most of the people, and it happened to many, many, many people in the past. All the great people in the past that didn't learn a whole lot about music, you thought they were making money because you might have saw them on TV, you might have saw them doing great things, but they weren't making. They didn't make no more money than they would if they'd been working at McDonald's. It's been the same thing. The music business is not what people think it is. I have people that was it. Let me tell you what happened to me. Give you another sign of.
Okay, sir. I'm listening.
When when my group couldn't, they didn't want to sign a contract, so they needed to go on the road. But we had somebody in our group that had money, and that was our manager. Our manager had money. He owned 2 funeral homes, so he had plenty of money. So what he did, the first album that we did, he sold that album back to for Kondak because it was a hit album. So he sold the album to Kondak. So okay, wow. Because he knew about business, he knew about it. He'd been in music all his life. So they bought all of our rights. We sold everything, gave them the hit album. They gave us the money. What we did, and this is what I learned starting at age 12 all the way up to 21, we owned ourselves. We was our own record company. We was our own producers. We were our own record label. We were our own everything. We were our own publishers. We was everything. So I got a chance to see how it was done at a young age. We didn't have to share money with nobody. And we made just as much money as the people were signed up with these contracts, flying all over the place to fulfill those contracts. I saw that. Now, in Mississippi, there's not a lot of people that was able to bring in these humongous gospel groups because it take a lot of money to get them here. But we could do it. So what my group would do, every year we would have called super concerts. And we would bring in 3 to 4 to 5 of these big world groups. It might be the Mighty Clouds of Joy. It may be the Slim and Supreme Angel. It may be the Fantastic Violinaires. It may be maybe the Pilgrim Jubilee. We would have those 4 groups to come in, and that would be the first part of the year. And then in the last part of the year, we would have, and we did this every year. For the whole 10 years, I got a chance to grow. I got a chance to grow up on stage with these people. I learned the music business with these people. And plus,
I think you started doing business for so long. So you've been into this game for so long. That's great.
I saw this done. I was raised in music. I was raised on it, but I didn't know anything about traveling on a contract. I don't know anything about that. I had to learn that later on. So in 1999, well, let me tell you, I got out of the group. This was a gospel group. I got out of the group. Now, you know, we in church, we learned to do things churchy wise. So I grew up in church. That's all I could do. We travel from Thursday until Monday. And getting through school was tough for me because I was always on the road. So if you know, the entire time, because you know, but my classes, they always, so I did most of school, a lot of schooling in the van on the road. So
But
what happened
sir,
was,
didn't your music career affect your schooling?
no, because I'm gonna tell you how let me tell you something.
Okay.
If you see what I'm doing now, if you see actually what I'm doing now, I do a lot of different businesses. I do a lot of things. I start people in businesses and different things like that. This is what I've done all my life since I was trained for this at the age of 4 or 5. I was already doing this at 4 or 5. If I can see it,
Wow.
I can do it. Because this is something that nobody can train you to do. It has to be in you. So because I can, it's just like right now, I can come and get in your group. You can say, hey, we're going on stage tomorrow. And I can get on stage with you and never miss a beat. I don't care if it's on the drums, on the keyboard, on the bass, guitar, I don't care. I never, because I already know what the music is going to do. There's
Wow.
only a few, there's only 3 changes. I learned that, but I knew that at the age of 3 and 4. So
Okay. So with all this experience, how many musicians in the US of A have you been able to work with? At least for these years you've been into music.
my
How
God, I
many
can't,
artists?
I'm gonna say probably 30, 40. I mean, I grew up doing it. I grew up doing this. I mean, it's see when you're playing out with all the groups, the thing that gave me my experience. It doesn't happen now anymore like it used to back in the old days. Back in the old days, even the professional groups, when they come to do a professional show, back in those days, many times they'll travel and wouldn't even have a drummer. They would always be needing someone. Well, back in the day, I remember once Shirley Caesar, we brought her to, well, she wasn't Shirley Caesar, she's Pastor Shirley Caesar now, but back when she was traveling with us, her group was Shirley Caesar and the Caesar Singers. She came to one of our programs when it was like I said twice, I think twice. She didn't have a drummer. So I had to play drums for her. They said, you know, they said she didn't have a drum. They told me, can you go play drum? Here come this little boy, jump up on it. And she was always looking back. She just knew I couldn't play. Wow. Because she was a professional. She was the world, Shirley Caesar, she was the world greatest. So here this little boy.
What's the name again? What's the name again?
Shirley Caesar. Pastor
Okay.
Shirley Caesar. Yeah.
All right.
Like I say, but see, nowadays, everybody has everything. Everybody has their keyboard player. Back then, nobody had keyboard players other than the professional groups that was signed by all the biggest companies in the world. Those the only one that had keyboards. There was no keyboards in those days. Keyboards just now start. I'm talking about in the gospel music arena. It wasn't any keyboards playing in the 70s and the 80s. Very people, matter of fact, most people only had a lead guitar player and a bass guitar player, and that was it. That was it. Matter of fact, my group didn't have a keyboard player. But so what we did 3 guitars.
Okay. Okay.
That's where I came in at, because they didn't know I could play keyboard. Now I was always a secretive person. I didn't talk a whole lot, didn't tell a whole lot of people things I could do, but I wanted to join that group as a guitar player. So they had a lead guitar player and a bass player. So I wanted to play guitar. They wanted another guitar player. They said, we're gonna try it. And I became that 3rd guitar player, which took the place of a keyboard.
All right. So at first, who was actually the main guitar player over there? Who was actually their main guitarist there?
his name was Travis Thompson. He was one of the world's greatest guitar players.
Wow.
Travis
Okay.
Thompson was, and his brother was named Willie Thompson. He was one of the best. Matter of fact, Shirley Caesar tried to get them to come play for her. She tried to see, back in the day there wasn't, there was a lot of people but they couldn't play that well. They could play, but they weren't world class like the Kings of Harmony had. They had the best in the world. So I became, like I could play anything. I could sing any part of the group. I don't care who, if any part of the background, if they weren't there, I could sing that part. I just knew how to do it.
For so long you've been into music, you've been doing music for so long, and you started from church. I believe that everyone started from church, and I know that. So how
Yes.
will you compare playing at church and then playing worldly music like R&B, pop, country music? How will you compare the church playing
Well,
and then that concert as well?
Well, that's what happened. I learned the music business from Kings of Harmony. I learned how to be professional from them. And at 21, I quit the group at 21 because then I knew what I was doing. I knew what I needed to do. So I needed money. I knew I needed money. So the way to get the money was I went disco. I went R&B. I raised up me an R&B group. And this was in 1883. So, I think I got out of the Kings of I played for the Kings of Harmony from 1972 to 1982, which was 10 years. 1983, I started a disco band. We went R&B.
Okay.
So what I did, I went to all the groups around me that was playing gospel music, but they didn't sound very good. There's a lot of times you can go hear people and they just sound horrible, but they may have one person that's pretty good. Now, when you got to understand, as a child, you know what sounds good, what sounds bad, but older people won't say nothing.
I got you.
They'll just go like, oh yeah, I said they're good, but they was horrible. I'm just gonna say, and they would get on programs and sing. They singing out of key, and just it was just hard. But they would always have one person that was good. So I would pick a guitar player from one group that was good, and for another guy could pop the bass, pop, 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 but he couldn't. Nobody else could do anything. I would get the bass player, and I had all my singers. I got everybody together, but I was the keyboard player. But in the day, I knew, but because of learning in the gospel music, learning how to work the crowd, I knew I couldn't play keyboard and work the crowd, go out front and work the crowd. So I had to train someone to play keyboard. So I trained my cousin, who was a guitar player. I trained him to play the keyboard. Okay. And I went out front so I could do the lead singing and all that. So, but it's all the same thing. It's no different. But I'm going to tell you this here. There's no difference between church and disco. People think it is. We would go to the juke joint. I mean, we would have people falling out just like they do in church. They will be falling out in the juke joints, shouting in the juke joints. Just like they would take people fall out in church and you have to take them out, they had to do the same thing when we sing in the juke joint.
That's the same feeling over there.
It was no different. So I knew that just knowing the business, it's the same thing. It's no different. But it's the spirit that's behind it. But the problem is, people don't understand. Music, it has one thing going for it. Music doesn't change. Only the words of music, the words that you put to the music is what changes. The music is the same. Whether it's blues, R&B, rap, disco, gospel, it's the same.
Okay, what is so unique about your music you do? Everybody has different style of bringing out in the world for people to get to know about it. We all have different brands, you understand? So what is so unique about your music you do?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, my music came from. I'm a little of everybody. I'm like let's say if you cook a cake, you take flour, you take eggs, you take the sugar. I'm a little of all of that. And into one, what I grew up with, I learned it all, and it's been in me. So what I did, I had to develop a style. I knew I had to have my own style. Uh, just like if you hear a group come on radio, you know that group by what they sound like. That, like the OJs. If you hear the OJs, you know that's the OJs. If you hear Earth, Wind, and Fire, oh, you automatically know that's Earth, Wind, and Fire. Nobody else
Okay.
sounds like that. So I knew I couldn't sound like anybody but me. So what I had to
Wow.
do was develop my own style. So developing my own style was basically writing my own songs from what was already in me and making it sound like what I wanted to sound like. Now, my CD that I did, this particular CD, it really was a test. I did my CD is the World Anthem. I call it the World Anthem because the World
Okay.
Anthem is something that everybody should be doing. It's praising the Lord. The song itself is not new, but the way I did it is new. And what I did, I have hundreds of songs that I'm writing because you know the music market changes a lot. Now, songs I wrote back in the 80s, you can't play them that way now. You have to bring them up to date a little bit. So all the songs I wrote back in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, I have to change those songs around to because you can't bring back Fat Domino. You can't. If somebody comes singing like the Fat Domino style, it ain't gonna work nowadays.
All
But
right.
if you
So
wrote a,
before you continue, what would be your opinion between 90s music and then today's music we're actually doing right now? What would be your opinion on this? Because you know 90s there was so much going on over there. You understand? What would you say about 90s music and then today's music?
well, see, in the 90s, you, everybody was doing like R&B. You know, you get Gladys Knights, you had the Michael Jackson, the Jacksons, you had Howard Hewitt, you had all these great people that was out there in R&B.
Yeah.
And they got famous when they put their music out back then. But if you see now, they don't put their music, don't sound like that now. They changing the music up. But there are songs with hits back then, so we still like to go back and listen to it. But it's not recorded. They don't record those songs now like they did in the 90s. We just listen to them. So their songs, like the OJs, they made the one album. And they got
Okay.
all the great songs that you hear from the OJs was recorded in the 70s. But we still like those songs today. But they're not recording it like they did back then. We just like the song. If the OJs went back in the studio now, they're not going to sound like. Matter of fact, if you see some of the stuff, the latest stuff they did, they kind of like they tried to update it. But many times the way you get known is the way you got to stick to your stuff. You got to stick to your guns. Now, I have a cousin. I'm sure you know him, Dietrich Haddon.
Yeah, District
You've heard
Haddon.
of
I know
Dietrich
him. I know him.
Haddon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I,
Yeah, that's my
I've
cousin.
been
That's
following
my
him for
cousin.
some time now. Yeah. Wow. I'll be
Yes,
very glad
Dietrich
to
Haddon is my
have him
cousin.
on Music Journey next time. Wow.
Yes. But the deal is with
I think
Dietrich, you see,
he played this song. I think he played this song. God is able to do whatever.
yes, that's him. That is him. Yes, that's him. That's him. Yes.